So, as I say, welcome along. We'll be introducing Sage 200 this morning on this coffee break session. As I say, my name's Tom from Eureka Solutions. Been here for 6 years and worked on our Sage support team and Sage implementation team, and now coming across to do things like webinars for you guys today. So hopefully we can learn a little bit about Sage 200 and the offering that it can provide over the next half hour, 40 minutes or so. We'll start off just with a bit of an agenda in terms of what we'll go through today. We'll do a little introduction to Eureka Solutions before then introducing Sage 200 and how the two come hand in hand. So introducing the functionality of Sage 200 from a financial point of view and also from a stock control and order processing point of view as well. And there's actually more within Sage 200 that we can look at, but that might be for a further session. Hopefully this will give you a good base understanding of Sage 200 and a good introduction to Sage 200, and so you can see how that would work. And of course, at the end, we'll have a question and answer session. So if there's any questions, please pop them into the chat facility and we can make sure that those are answered at the end. My colleague Sophie is on, who will be monitoring the questions, and then we'll ask those at the end. So anything that does come up, please use the chat facility and we will make sure any questions are answered. Alrighty, so a bit about Eureka Solutions then and why we're doing this webinar today for Sage 200 and why is it not Sage directly. So we were founded back in 2004, actually been going for longer than that, but in the current kind of business of selling solutions to customers like Sage 200, we were founded back in 2004. So just celebrated our 20th anniversary there last year. So we've been doing this just over 20 years, so really experienced when it comes to implementing Sage 200. So we are a Sage business partner and developer, so meaning that we do all the implementation, scope and work for Sage 200. We would do the ongoing support for Sage 200 as you progress with the system. So we would basically be your one-stop shop for anything that's Sage 200 related. So we would be a go-to for the implementation and the support for Sage 200. And say we're a Sage 200 partner and developer, so we can develop Sage 200 for your requirements. We've got a host of add-ons that work in tandem with Sage 200 as well. So award-winning, we've won 5 times being the Sage Developer of the Year, and we've done over 140 Sage 200 implementations over the last 20 or so years. So really seasoned when it comes to implementing Sage 200, and that's coming from a variety of different systems. Obviously, Sage 50 is quite a popular one when it comes to kind of path that people go on from system to system. So Sage 50 to Sage 200 is a really well-trodden path, but we've equally done implementations of other systems like QuickBooks, Xero, Dynamics, other systems that people have came to Sage 200 from. So as I say, we're over 75 staff now. So as you can hear from the accent, based up in Scotland, so just outside of Glasgow and East Kilbride, but we have also got an office in Newcastle as well. So our customers range from up in Orkney to all the way down in the likes of Plymouth and the far south of the country. So customer base is spread all throughout the UK, and we can adapt to work in any way that you wish, whether that be on site or whether it be more remote, which obviously the world's become a bit more adapted to following COVID, but equally so more than happy to come out on site and do work as well. So as I say, we do the support for Sage 200, and you can see there we've got a 9.7 out of 10 on customer sure. So what does that actually mean in practice? So essentially any time that our support team closes a case or solves an issue for a customer day to day, they're sent an email to basically say how well did Eureka understand their problem, how efficient was the service, and how well were we communicated with throughout that process. So we're sitting at 9.7 out of 10 at the moment, so always room for improvement, but a score that we're really proud of. And all the reviews, all 8,000 plus of them, are all on the website for your review as well. So the good, bad, and indifferent is on there. So we would certainly welcome you to go on and have a look at what our customers are saying about our support team. So as I say, we're over just about 75 towards 80 staff now, and the majority are actually in technical roles. So the business was formed on two key principles, two key founding principles, and those are technical expertise and customer service. And the two kind of work hand in hand. So we can't really provide that excellent customer service, that getting that 9.7 out of 10 customer satisfaction score without being technically astute and having that technical expertise. So that's kind of shown within the split of our staff. The majority are in technical roles. So, like myself, I'd spoken about before, worked on the support team, worked on the implementation team before, coming and doing things like today and presenting Sage 200 to yourselves. So the majority of our team have came from technical roles and technical backgrounds, which allows us then to deliver that key founding principle of technical expertise, which helps us to deliver that excellent customer service, and that will always be at the heart of the business as we go forward. I mentioned our add-ons. We can come onto that as we go through and look at Sage 200 and where that might complement some of the functionality. And the final piece is we're also an integration specialist. Over the years of working with Sage 200, we've found that customers may be using other solutions. It might be a CRM system, it might be a fundraising system for charities, it might be a warehouse system, it could be whatever. Another great example is websites. Obviously, e-commerce has become so popular over the years, and especially since COVID as well. People buying online using the likes of Shopify, WooCommerce, Amazon, eBay, etc. So we get direct integrations into those solutions, and that's using our tool called Basincly, which you can see at the bottom right hand side, the bottom right bubble, and also the Basincly logo at the bottom of the screen as well. So Basincly is a cloud integration platform that's got integrations with Sage 200, so it can help you integrate different solutions together. So just meaning that you're not having lots of disparate systems. We can make Sage 200 talk to your other systems that you may be invested in. So that's a little whistle-stop tour of Eureka Solutions, and hopefully gives you a good grounding on why we're presenting today. As I say, I'm a seasoned Sage 200 partner. So a wee bit about our customer base then. So we've got a really wide-ranging customer base, and that goes to show how adaptable Sage 200 is. So across lots of different industries. So for example, goals. I don't know if we've got any keen five-a-side football players on the call this morning, but goals who we provide who own some of those five-a-side centres up and down the UK. Use Sage 200 with ourselves, but also we've got power tool companies, clean tech sports turf, pharmaceutical companies, and the AC Western Ferries as well. So a really, really wide-ranging customer base for Sage 200, and that's because it is adaptable to different industries, and we'll go on to show that as we show Sage 200 this morning. And we've got a nice quote there from John at Kelvin Power Tools, just saying how we look to implement the software to their needs, and how and make the system work to how they work, and really bring that together, as opposed to just giving you the system and letting you run with it. We will work with you to make sure the system works with your requirements. So what is Sage 200 then? That's a little bit about Eureka Solutions and how we work with Sage 200, but what actually is Sage 200 and how will that potentially help in terms of your journey with business systems? So the Sage 200 core offering is made up of different areas, the top two being the main two that we'll probably look at today. So the financials, all Sage products basically are all sound accounting softwares. So that's no different with Sage 200. So you've got your financials modules, which the whole system is really based around. So your sales ledger, purchase ledger, your nominal ledger, or GL, which some people may call it, and the cash book. So everything that you do in Sage 200 will all revert back to these core financials modules, because at its heart, it is a financial management system. That's then added to by the Sage 200 commercials modules, which we'll look at as well. So the likes of managing purchase orders, sales orders, invoicing of those orders, stock management, and pricing up of the products as well. And again, that all link back to what you've got in your finance module. So everything is all linked together, giving you a one-stop shop for everything. It's also got nice complementary modules as well, such as bill of materials. So if you're selling stock, such as a bike, and you need to put all the components together to sell that on, and also projects modules, so project accounting, and also some nice projects modules from third parties as well. So if you've got projects that you're running and you want to have good visibility of the revenue and the costs associated with that project, then that can all be done through Sage 200 as well. There's also really nice partner network in Sage with Sage 200. So what Sage call our tech partners, you can see we are one of those at the bottom of the screen there. So we can provide additional functionality, as well as our partners such as Cyclone and Racer, who provide modules for Sage 200 that work alongside the core offering. So for example, warehousing solutions, manufacturing solutions, and many, many more. So the system can really grow with you as requirements change and as your business grows. As I mentioned before, we are a developer for Sage 200, so we've got a variety of add-ons that we can add to complement what's already in Sage 200. And this has all came off the back of customer feedback over the years and customer requests. So we've built our Plus Pack, for example, which has lots of nice little enhancements. We've got our Sales Order and Purchase Order Plus, which is great for order takers if you're raising a lot of sales orders and purchase orders through the day, and various other add-ons. So, for example, advanced fixed assets, links with couriers, warranty services and repairs if you're selling items that have a warranty, and also our old integration tool, which is called Data Exchange, which is all file-based. So there's lots and lots that you can add to the system that helps it bend to your requirements. And just finally, just a little bit on delivering Sage 200 and what the implementation process might look like. So there might be someone on the call today who are using the likes of maybe Sage 50 or other starter solutions. So what does it actually look like to get from that position onto a live running Sage 200 system? So there's quite a few steps to it, but we'll be there with you to handhold you through that whole process. So that comes from demonstrations, and then if you do go ahead with Sage 200, that will come with rigorous scoping, making sure that we understand your business and understand what you want from a new system in Sage 200. We will then go and configure that in step one, configure the system to your requirements based on what we've understood through that rigorous scoping phase. We would set up all your reports and layouts to be in the same format as you would like. We would do all the user training, of course. Going to a new system will be a bit different, so we will certainly train you on the system, making sure that you can do your day-to-day processes in the best way and most efficient way possible. UAT, so going through that user acceptance testing, a massive part, making sure that you can go away and test the system and test those day-to-day processes and make sure they're working before we go live, make sure everything's in place. And then we'll get to that go live stage where we're all happy with the system, we're all happy that it's going to work to our requirements, it's all working how we expect, and we can then handhold you through the go live process. And we wouldn't just leave you there. We would have post-go live support, making sure that you're well looked after you go live with Sage 200. And of course, our lovely support team would then take over, and your account manager would look after you from there on in. So it's very much about building a relationship so that you get the very best from Sage 200, and you've always got someone to turn to if there are any issues, queries along the way. So we'll always be with you through the whole process, from scoping all the way through to going live and beyond. All right, then. So that kind of gives us hopefully a nice basis to work from to show you Sage 200. So we've looked at a little bit about Eureka Solutions and how you're a Sage 200 partner and how we can help with the implementation of Sage 200. We've had a brief introduction to Sage 200, which hopefully now will come to life a little bit more once we show the solution. So welcome to Sage 200. You should be able to see that on the screen. Please shout out if you can't see Sage 200 on the screen. So what we plan to do in the next 15, 20 minutes or so is just go through a very high level walkthrough of some of the things you can do within the system. So as you can see here, we are in Sage 200, and on the left-hand toolbar, we can start to really do some actions within the system. Now, the first thing I must stress is that I've got everything switched on here. you can tailor down the access to Sage 200 in whatever which way you want to do. So it might be you've got some users that just need access to the purchase ledger and be able to view accounts, or might be able just to view transactions, not giving them access to enter any. We can certainly set that up for you. It might be you just get sales staff who just need to raise sales orders, so we can just make sure that they've got the access that they need. So everything is role based, so we can put users into groups to say this group of users get this access to the system. Everything is linked to your Windows account as well, so there's no need for a username and password for Sage 200. Everything's linked to your Windows security. So when you log in the morning, you can then get access to Sage 200, providing that you've been set up correctly. So I'll have a whiz through some of these modules that we talked about. So as I said in the slides, we split this up into financials. So your sales ledger, your purchase ledger, nominal ledger, and your cash book. Those are our financials modules, which everything will come back to. We've also got our commercials modules, so our stock control, sales orders, purchase orders, and our cash and our price book. And we've also got the bill of materials and project accounting modules, which you mentioned as well, but we'll probably not look too much at those today, as we'll just go through an overview. Alrighty, so the first thing we can look at is our nominal ledger, for example. So if we look at our nominal list, we can see here we've got a nice three-tier kind of nominal structure that we can make use of. So we've got different cost centers, different departments, so we can really look at that chart of account structure when you look to move to Sage 200. So that gives us a nice layers of analysis that we might want to report on. So for example, you might want to just run a profit and loss, for example, for one cost center or one department, or a combination of, and that gives us that nice granular information. Now, when you are moving system or looking to move system, it's a really good time to look at cleansing all areas of the system. So the chart of accounts being one of the main ones. So if you wanted to make amendments to your chart of accounts, maybe streamline it, maybe add cost centers and departments if you wanted to, then it's really a good time to look at that. Also, a really good thing about Sage 200 is, from an accounting point of view, is that we've got a notion of periods. So if I look at maintaining our accounting periods, you can see in this demo set we're a wee bit behind, but you can see here we can open and close periods as we want to. So if you want to do that whole month-end process and close down periods as they come, then you can absolutely do that within Sage 200, and that's across the different business areas as well. So your sales, purchasing, cash book, and stock can all be closed in different ways. So really good flexibility when it comes to if you want the periods all to be open, or you want to go through that kind of more rigid process at a month end and close down all your periods and have more rigid reporting. The floor is yours when it comes to how you want that to be set up. Of course, we can do our kind of journal transactions through Sage 200, have budgets set up in Sage 200 as well against our nominal codes or a group of nominal codes, and of course we've got all our usual kind of our usual journal entries. We can also do prepayments and accruals, and we can also set up journal templates as well if you are doing the kind of same types of journals month on month. So we can set up nice templates just to save you time. And hopefully use your time more efficiently than banging in the same journal time and time again. If I just come back and look at our sales ledger, for example, just to go through our customer list, our customers and suppliers will all be held within Sage 200. It's not a CRM system by any means when it comes to customers, but we can certainly hold a lot of information against our customers within Sage 200. And you can see here on our list view, we can get quite a lot of information just from that one list. We can change that in any way that we want to. So we might want to add in an address or a contact name or whatever columns that you see fit. If we look at this customer, for example, and have a look at Abbey Retail, I'll pop into their customer account. You can see here we can hold a lot of information against a customer, and it's the same for suppliers as well. So our address information, company information, contacts, we might have more than one. We might have one that we want to send a statement to, for example. We'll have one that's a default contact who we regularly get in contact with. We've also got trading information, and we get this notion of analysis codes. So analysis codes are really in there to make your data more granular. So there might be specific information that you want to report on when it comes to customers, when it comes to suppliers, when it comes to stock. You'll see these analysis codes prop up over every module that we go through in Sage 200. So you can see here, I've got this set up for customers. So the likes of account manager, customer type, how did you hear about us? So these aren't actually Sage 200 fields at all. It's ones that we've set up that we want to know more information on. So for example, here you can see in our list at the side, you can see we've got this account manager field set up. So that's one of our analysis codes, and it means we can then report on customers who are with Alan Ward, or customers who are with Winston, or customers who are with Jim. So that's just one example. The analysis codes are totally amendable by yourself. So it might be you don't want to report on an account manager at all, but you do want to report on a customer that's in a specific region, for example. So you can set up analysis codes in whichever way you want. Of course, we can have payment terms, credit terms, different documents for different customers. We can attach files against the customer. So if we wanted a logo in there or whatever it might be, a customer information document, then you can store that against the customer in Sage 200. And we can also set them up on different pricing templates and discounts as well. So I can come on to that when we have a look at our stocking price and a little bit. Of course, we can go through the whole sales order process, which we'll come on to shortly. And we can do all of our normal transaction types. So, for example, putting on an invoice against a customer, putting on a receipt, payments, allocations against customers, of course, can all be done within Sage 200. Now, notice we could do that from up here, or we could do it from down here. There's loads of different ways to get around Sage 200, and it really depends on how you might pick that up as we go through Sage 200. Now you can see here I've got the report section at the left-hand side here, and also up at the right-hand side here. So we can run aged debtors, aged creditors. So for example, if I run our aged debtors, for example, can run this through Sage 200, and we can get all the information out into a report. We can filter this down by, for example, our customer types, and account manager, those analysis codes that we touched on, or our currency. If I just run this report just as is, we can run that through. It might take a little bit because I've got quite a lot. So you can see here that aged debtors report that's came out. Noticed here, we can email this out, we can export it, we can send everything to Excel. So everything's all available within Sage 200 from a reporting standpoint. And you can use this report to email. And that's not just for aged debtors. It could be for your profit and loss, for example. So if I just pop back into our nominal ledger and look at our reports and our financial statements, we can run all our financial statements through Sage 200 as well. So our TV, our profit and loss, and lots of different variants, and our balance sheet and lots of different variants as well. And the same applies when you run that. You can run that through to Excel, send all the data out, send the report out to Excel. So there's really good links to Excel as well, because as we want to do the system to do as much as possible, I think Excel will be used within every finance team that we speak to. So we can certainly use Excel in conjunction with Sage 200. And I can come back onto that as we go through this morning. It's the same sort of thing when we look at our suppliers. So I'll have a quick look at our supplier list. Again, you can change the columns in here if you wanted to add different layers of information. Again, if we have a look at AB Cookers and McEntee account, we can have a look at a supplier. We can have a look at a supplier account. Same sort of idea. We can lock the bank details down, so don't worry. And we can lock these down to the house so that people can't go in and change and make changes if you don't want them to. We can have, again, as many contacts as we need. And again, we've got these analysis codes that we can put on our suppliers. Now, notice how these are totally different from the ones that we saw in the customers. These are all been set up from a supplier standpoint now. So you might want to report in different ways for your suppliers in ways that suits your company best. So we can set up those analysis codes in whatever which way you want to do it. Again, we've got payment credit terms, attachments, memos, and again, that will all come out. You'll see that recurring theme within Sage 200. We've got our similar reports for our aged creditors this time, different transaction listings, due date reports, and again, we can run these from either way that we want, either that right-hand side or down the left-hand side here. There's also a really nice, just where we're in the purchase ledger, it's one that I always like to show is our period end routines and our payment processing. So there's a really nice payment processing routine within Sage 200, which allows us to generate suggested payments based upon our due dates that are within the system. The system will do the groundwork for us and suggest what we should pay, but at the end of that, you are the one that decides what gets paid and what doesn't. The system just does the groundwork and gives you a really good suggestion, and then you can decide, well, that invoice I know shouldn't be paid for whatever reason, so I don't need to pay that, but I'll pay these ones. We've got really nice links to the bank. So if I pop into our cash book, for example, we've got a really nice link to the bank. So it could be e-banking for the likes of paying your suppliers. So if you deal with one of the major banks, we should be able to get a payment file out in the format that you bank with, so that you can then just go and upload that file straight into the bank. Also, for our reconciliation, we can use Sage Bank Feeds, which means that we can pull your statement down and make that reconciliation a whole lot easier. So if I go into our bank rec, for example, you can see here at the top, we've got our Sage Bank Feeds, free service that you can use to download the transaction. And it really just helps you reconcile what you've got in Sage to what you've got in Sage 200, to what you've got in your bank, sorry. And it just means you can pull down that statement and just match up the transactions a bit easier, rather than doing it the more traditional way. You can also set up our standing orders and direct debits through Sage 200. And of course, we've got a range of reports that we can run within the cash book as well. Alrighty, so that's a really quick whistle-stop tour of the Sage 200 financials modules. And as I say, everything is really based upon that, everything that we do from here on in. But what we've got in Sage 200 as well is our commercials module. So that's looking at our stock. So if you do have stock within your business that you want to keep track of, then we can certainly do that within Sage 200. So if I have a look at our blender, for example, we can search the lists in whatever way that we need to. So I'll look at our blender and I'll just have a look at some of the things that we can do within stock control. So you might want to view the details, you might want to view the buying prices, you might want to you might want to view the purchase orders that are associated with this stock item. You can easily get that within a click, and then I can actually go and view the purchase order from within here. You can see real good visibility of stock as well. So it might be that we have more than one location. So I want to see where the stock's held that we've got within the business. So you can see here that we've got two locations. You can have as many as you need. So it's a multi-location stock system. So we have, say, two warehouses, one in Glasgow, one in London, or we might have one in Ireland, for example. You can easily show what's in each different location. And not just that, we can show whereabouts in that location is. So what bin it's in within that location. So we can see what's in stock. We can see stock that's been allocated as well. And then from there, we can actually go and view the history or view the item details. So I want to see for this item allocations that have been made, or I want to see orders that have come in, and I can show the details of these allocations as well from within here. So within a few clicks, we can get from that stock list right into different item history and see what's going on with our stock. As I say, it's multi-location, so it's really good for having that stock visibility and seeing what's where. The other great thing about the stock control module as well is we can deal with any requirements for batch and serial numbers. So if I look at our paint, for example, and I have a look at our view again, we can view the batch and serial details for our beige paint that we're looking at. And we can see here that we've got different batch numbers for that. So we've got a batch here that's got a sell by date, and we can see here that this is sell by date in our instance, so we need to get rid of it. So you can set up your stock in different batches. We can see what's been allocated, what's been issued, and we've always got that traceability aspect within Sage 200. Something that comes up all the time when we're looking at stock for different businesses, and ones in particular the pharmaceuticals, for example. But even in this example, the likes of paint and different things that need to have that kind of batch traceability against them. We can also use serial numbers, so for likes of laptops or high ticket items, we can attach serial numbers to those as well. Of course, we can do our different actions within stock, so transferring stock, adding in stock, which of course we can do through purchase orders as well, or different stock valuations and returns can be done through here as well. So lots and lots that we can do within our stock module. And that all then links into our order processing. So, for example, if you wanted to add stock, you might want to buy that from a supplier. So, if I look at a purchase order map, we can raise purchase orders through Sage 200. We can set up authorization workflows so that those can get authorized by various people in the organisation. Can print those off and do the full GRN and then go through and invoice those as well. So we can do a three-way matching process by invoicing against the goods received note and also against that purchase order as well. We can also process returns through Sage 200 as well. So if we wanted to do a return of stock to our supplier because there's been faulty or whatever it may be, then you can process all your returns through Sage 200 as well. And that can actually start as a requisition. So if you were doing a purchase order, you could actually use our purchase requisition module to actually raise a purchase requisition. So it might be that I don't know who the supplier is and I just want to raise a requisition, and I can certainly do that within Sage 200. And the great thing about that is you can do it using a more watered down Sage license, so not having to pay the full price if it was just requisitions that people were having to raise. It's a similar story when it comes to sales orders. We can do the whole sales process. Now, it might be that you're importing orders from an external source, so you might be using Syncly to take sales orders in from an e-commerce platform. Equally so, you could raise a quote within Sage and amend that and convert that into a sales order. You could enter an order just manually through Sage 200, of course, and then we can go through this whole process of allocating stock. If there was stock against that order, we could do a picking list. We could acknowledge the order and send out an acknowledgement to our customers to say that we've received your order. We can get the picking list for our warehouse staff. We can then amend that. We can dispatch the goods. We can print invoices and then process that all back to our sales ledger using using Sage 200. So we can really go through a nice tailored process from order right through to cash. So that's what we call our order to cash process. And we can also do our sales returns through here as well. So if in the unfortunate case we do get people, some of our customers sending goods back, then we can process all our sales returns and credit notes through Sage 200, which again will all reflect back in your financials and against your customer and sales ledger, nominal ledger in Sage 200. So that's a really whistle-stop tour of stock and sales ordering and purchase ordering. And of course, we can set up prices within here. So if we were selling those goods, so for example, our paint or our blenders, for example, we can price those up. So we get different price bands. We've got different discount groups, so we can put customers on different price bands for different groups of products, and then we can set up discounts against them as well. So a really nice flexible module when it comes to setting up prices for our different goods and for our different customers. All right. So I've had a quick look through some of the modules within Sage 200. Another area I wanted to probably show is we've been looking at our desktop all morning. So this is Sage 200 desktop. This is what would be installed on your machine. It's a multi-company system, I must add. So if we wanted to change company, we can change our company. And you can see here I've got 2 companies set up. You could have up to 999. So really good if you've got a group structure where you want to have different companies associated in Sage 200. I mentioned this is our desktop view. We can also use our web portal as well to look at our Sage information. So I'm going a bit fast there. So this is our web portal as well. So you can have web licenses or connected user licenses, which will show Sage 200 in our web portal. So the great thing about this is it makes Sage 200 more accessible if you're out and about. There's a bit of setup to do at the beginning just to get this all set up because it will be looking at your data that's stored on your server. So we would set that up along with your IT professionals and make sure that you can get access to the web portal. But there's lots you can do from within here. So we can look at our purchase ledger, our nominal, cash book, our sales ledger. Can also raise orders from here as well. So if we're out and about and we wanted to raise a new sales order, for example, we've been out at a customer, they kindly want to go ahead, but we might not know if we've got enough stock. So we might want to look at our stock inquiries and view item balances. So I can do that all within Sage 200. So I just pop out there. It's just going to log me out. I'll just log in again. And you come back out. Come back in. So we can do this all within the web portal in Sage 200. So again, Sage have been really good at developing this over the last few years, and it's really just to make Sage 200 more accessible from different points. So once we log back in here, I can show you some of the different areas that we can get into within the web portal. Just let that load through, and hopefully the Wi-Fi plays ball, and we can get you back into the web portal. While that loads up, I'll just pop back into, in fact, I think it's all what, so I can. So I was in our stock module and I wanted to look at some of those inquiries. So I wanted to see stock item balances. How much of a stock item have we actually got? So if I wanted to look at our blender, for example, I'll look at here. So there's our blender there. I can see I've got 131 in stock, but I want to see basically what we looked at in the desktop. We can see I've got 18 here that are actually in stock. I can see anything that's been allocated. I can see there's none for there. So there's 18 free in the showroom and there's 113 free in our warehouse. So you can get really good inquiries, and this is all through the web portal. You can see here in Google Chrome. You can raise purchase orders and also do purchase inquiries as well through the web app. So it's something that's continually been built on by Sage, but it's really just to make the system more accessible and more flexible for different customers' requirements. All right. So I just pop back in here. So that's been a really quick whistle-stop tour of Sage 200. We've looked at our financials modules, had a quick run through of the different modules within there, touching on the nominal and the accounting structures. Looked at our commercials modules, sales orders, purchase orders, the stock associated. And we've also had a quick look at the web app as well. So there's lots of nice functionality within the system. Of course, we can do lots of reporting as well through Sage 200. So we'll get these nice summaries. So if I looked at our sales order summary, for example, can get really nice tables and dashboards that are set up within Sage 200. So if I look at our financials, we can get a really nice idea of our VAT and our profit. We can look at our purchase orders and get an idea of what's going on with our POs and also our stock control summary as well. So there's some really nice dashboard reports that we can get out just to get a nice snapshot of data within the system. So we just let that load through and show the kind of summaries. We can also send all the data, as I say, out to Excel, and there's really nice links to Sage to the likes of Power BI. We can get the data out into the format of Power BI as well, if that's something that you've got knowledge of in-house and something that you use currently as well. All right then. So that probably brings an end to the demonstration part. All that's probably left to say is if there's any questions, please do fire them into the chat and I can make sure that those are answered. And if there are any questions that come up off the back of the session this morning, please do not hesitate to get in touch. More than happy to answer any questions. Normally it is the way that once you've had a chance to digest, some questions may come up. So please do ask away if there's any questions at all. I'll be more than happy to answer. And if there's no questions, a big thank you for joining us. I hope it's been beneficial and informative this morning. And a big thank you for everyone for joining on this very wet Wednesday morning. If there's any questions, please do fire them across, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.